All right, thank you guys. Welcome to Brock Page Productions. As always, I'm your host, Brock Page, and I do sports picks for free right here on YouTube. Hopefully you guys had a very Merry Christmas. And if you really end up enjoying this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up by hitting that like button. And if you haven't already joined the Brock Page delegation, please feel free to do that right now by tapping that subscribe button below. And guys, we got ourselves another really great slate of NBA action here on Saturday. So let's go ahead and begin. We got it fired up, ready to go on the big screen behind me. And we're going to take a look at the Atlanta Hawks taking on the Memphis Grizzlies, 5 p.m. Eastern start time at the FedEx Forum. The Grizzlies are minus 1.5, totals 238. We're 4-0 in our last four college football tier package picks on patreon.com/BrockPage. We're also 3-0 in our last three Underdog tier package picks on that site as well. And the good news is this: we have premium plays going off today in both of those memberships on that site. Now, if you want to join the community of over 775 handicappers that are signed up and active on that page, link for that site is in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. Now, the Grizzlies gave up 131 points in their season opener against San Antonio, and that was a 12-point loss to the Spurs, where they allowed them to shoot 51% from the field. Now, they're taking on a 1-0 Atlanta squad who actually held the Bulls to just 104 total points in their opener themselves, as well as holding them to a measly 22% shooting from beyond the arc. Trae Young had 37 points in that ball game, 6 boards and 7 assists for the point guard. Meanwhile, Bogdan Bogdanovic also had 15 points himself from the bench, 7 boards and a couple assists for the role player. Atlanta shot 54% from the field in that contest against Chicago. And when it comes to the total in this one, 7 out of these teams' last 10 head-to-head meetings actually did stay under the posted total. The Hawks also saw their season opener against Chicago stay under the line as well. Give me the underdog Atlanta Hawks plus 1.5 and the under 238 in that game. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take another quick timeout and welcome you to the video. Got some lines and personal leans out for NBA action here on December 26th. Happy Saturday to you. Hopefully you guys once again had a great Christmas yesterday, great Christmas Eve. If you didn't, no big deal. Hey, that's life. But hopefully you did and you were safe. And hopefully you made a little bit of money as well. I know we did. We went 5-1 yesterday in our premium picks on Patreon. Now, before we go ahead and dive into some more free content right here on YouTube, just got to quickly remind you once again that we are 4-0 in our last four college football tier package picks on patreon.com/BrockPage. We're also 3-0 in our last three Underdog tier package picks on that site as well. And both memberships have plays going off today. And just remember, guys, when you sign up for a membership on Patreon, you get access to all the lesser expensive memberships absolutely free. And no, you did not mishear me. When you sign up for one of my memberships on Patreon, you instantly get access to all the lesser expensive tiers absolutely free. The cheaper memberships are included with your purchase. It's absolute outstanding value if you decide to get a membership here today. And for those who are wondering what the difference is between my free picks here on YouTube and the picks on my Patreon site, well, what I do on Patreon is I make life a lot easier for you as I break down the daily card and focus in on just 3 to 4 premium selections per day. They're my personal plays, games that I personally have action on. It's not the entire card side and total where you have to kind of pick and choose and decipher which games I'm on. Once again, make life a lot easier for you, focusing in on 3 to 4 premium selections per day. And I'll tell you this much, I'm having a lot more success betting on games that way in smaller sample sizes versus wagering on every single game on the slate side and total like I do here with my free leans on YouTube. Now, there is a tutorial video right on the Patreon homepage that shows you how to easily navigate the site. And we currently have a community of over 775 handicappers that are signed up and active on that site. So if you want to go ahead and join those folks and get in on the action, I'd love to have you. I strongly recommend it. I think it's a great idea for you. And link for that website is in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/Brock Page. And moving on, we're going to take a look at the Cavaliers versus the Pistons, 7 p.m. Eastern tip-off in Detroit. Now, the Detroit Pistons are -2.5 at home, totals 213 flat. The Cleveland Cavs are plus $110 for an outright victory. Now, Cleveland did put up 121 points against Charlotte in their last outing, and that was a 7-point victory against the Hornets in that one. The Cavs shot a staggering 47% from beyond the arc in that contest. Colin Sexton had 27 total points in the opener, 2 rebounds, 5 assists for the guard. And Darius Garland also had 22 points in the game himself, 6 rebounds and 6 assists as well. The Cavs were also hitting at 53% from the field offensively. Now they're taking on a Detroit squad who scored just 101 points in their season opener against Minnesota. The Pistons also shot just 22% from beyond the arc. They've also failed to cover the number in their last 6 straight contests against a Central Division opponent. So if you're into historical trends, just keep that particular factor in mind. Now, total-wise, 8 out of Detroit's last 10 contests with the Cavs got over the posted number. Cleveland also saw their last game get over the line as well. We're going to lean toward yet another underdog in this one. Give me the underdog Cleveland Cavs plus 2.5 and the over 213. All right, next matchup I have for you, it is going to be OKC versus Charlotte, and that's going to be a 7 p.m. Eastern tip-off in the Queen City. The Charlotte Hornets are the 3-point favorite at home, totals 217.5. The Hornets, once again, they gave up 121 points to Cleveland in their season opener. Charlotte's lost 7 out of their last 10 head-to-head meetings with the Thunder, and they allowed their opponents to hit 47% from beyond the arc in their last game. Now they're taking on an OKC squad who's led by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who averaged 19 points a night in the regular season last year, 6 rebounds and 3 assists for the shooting guard. The Thunders won 8 out of their last 9 outings on Charlotte's home court. And when it comes to the scoring in this one, the Hornets saw their season opener with Cleveland fly about 18 points above the posted number in that contest. So give me the OKC Thunder plus 3 and the over 217.5. All right, next contest I have for you, it is going to be the Orlando Magic versus the Wizards, 7 p.m. Eastern start time in the Capitol. The Washington Wizards are -2 at home, totals 230 and a hook. Now the Orlando Magic's plus $110 for some money line cash. Now, Orlando beat the 2020 Eastern Conference champions in their season opener. They actually held Miami to just 107 points in that contest. Evan Fournier had 25 points in that game, 3 steals and 4 assists for the guard. Meanwhile, Aaron Gordon also had 20 points in the game himself, 7 rebounds and 4 steals for the power forward. Now, they're taking on a Washington team who was only able to score 107 points in their opener against Philly. Now, the Wizards also allowed Philly to shoot nearly 43. Scratch that. We're looking at a Wizards team who also allowed Philly to shoot nearly 48% from the field. Now, total-wise, Washington saw their season opener with the Sixers fall about 11 points below the posted number in that game. I'm going to lean toward the Orlando Magic plus 2 and the under 230 and a hook. Next matchup I have for you, it is going to be Sixers versus the Knicks, 7:30 p.m. Eastern tip in the Big Apple. Philadelphia is the 8.5-point favorite on the road, totals 216 flat. The Sixers once again had a real nice 113-107 victory over the Wizards in their opener. Very strong effort defensively for this new-look Philadelphia squad. Joel Embiid had 29 points in that contest, 14 boards and a pair of assists for the 7-foot center. Pretty dominant effort by Embiid. Shake Milton also had 19 points for the Sixers, 3 assists and 3 steals from the bench for Shake. Now the Sixers, they've really had New York's number in recent meetings. 10-0 straight up in their last 10, 11-5 against the number in their last 16. And speaking of the Knicks, They're coming fresh off a 14-point loss to Indiana in their opener themselves. And if you think about it, no real surprise there. Now, the Knicks gave up 121 points to Indiana, and they allowed them to shoot nearly 50% from the field. Now, when it comes to the total on this one, New York 6-1 to the over in their last 7 against a fellow Eastern Conference member. They also saw their last game get about 13 points above the posted total as well. Give me the Philadelphia 76ers minus 8.5 and the over 216. All right, next contest. It is going to be Pacers, Bulls, 8 p.m. Eastern tip-off in the Windy City. The Indiana Pacers are minus 5 away from home. Totals 222.5. The Chicago Bulls are plus 175 for an outright win. Now, the Bulls got blasted by Atlanta in their season opener by 20 points. Chicago was held to just 104 points in that ball game, and they shot a dismal 22% from beyond the arc. They're squaring off against a 1-0 Indiana squad who shot nearly 50% from the field in their opener themselves. Domantas Sabonis had 32 total points in the ball game, 13 boards, and 5 assists for the big man. It's good to see him getting significant time as he's battled injury in recent months. But anyway, Victor Oladipo also had 22 points himself, 4 rebounds and 4 assists for the shooting guard. Indiana's 5-1 to the over in their last 6 meetings with a Central Division opponent. They also saw their opener get over the line as well. I'm going to lean toward the Pacers minus 5 and the over 222 and a hook. Next matchup, it is going to be Raptors versus the Spurs, 8:30 p.m. Eastern start time in Texas. The Raptors are minus 2.5 on the road, totals 226 and a hook. Now, Toronto scored just 99 points in their opener against the Pelicans. That was a 14-point loss and that very poor effort to start the new season. The Raptors have also struggled to cover the number in recent meetings with the Spurs as well. Just 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 contests in that category. They're taking on a Spurs team who actually dropped 131 on Memphis, and they shot 51% from the field. DeMar DeRozan scored 28 in the opener, 9 rebounds, 9 assists for the guard. DeRozan also recorded a steal and a block on the defensive end of the court. We also want to take a look at DeJounte Murray, who scored 21 points in the opener himself. And with Murray, good to see him get some, significant action in the opener. This guy's been battling injuries for some time now as well. Now, Murray also had 6 boards, 9 assists, and a pair of steals defensively against the Grizzlies as well. And when it comes to the scoring in this one, 4 out of the Spurs' last 6 meetings with Toronto stayed under the posted number. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, Toronto saw their opener with the Pels stay about 17 points below the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward yet another underdog covering the number. Give me the underdog, San Antonio Spurs, plus 2.5, and the under 226 and a hook. All right, next contest. It is going to be Timberwolves, Jazz, 9 p.m. East. The Jazz are minus 9 at home, totals 229 flat. The Minnesota Timberwolves are plus 310 for an upset victory. Now, the T-Wolves shot 86% from the stripe in their opener, and they held the Detroit Pistons to just 22% shooting from beyond the arc. Malik Beasley had 23 points in the contest, 4 rebounds, and a couple assists for the guard. And Karl Anthony Towns also scored 22 points in the opener, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists for the 7-foot center. Towns also had a pair of blocks and a steal defensively. Now, they're taking on a Utah squad who failed to cover the number in 10 out of their last 13 as the official home team. Now, the Jazz also shot just 78% from the foul line in their opener as well. Not real indicative of a fundamentally sound team. Now, total-wise, both teams saw their season openers stay under the posted number respectively. We're going to lean toward yet another underdog. I'm going to lean toward the underdog Timberwolves plus 9, keeping that one close, and the under 229 in that game. All right, next matchup I have for you, it is going to be Rockets versus the Blazers, 10 p.m. Eastern tip-off. The Blazers are minus 7.5 with the total at 226 flat. The Houston Rockets are plus 275 for an upset win. The Rockets had their season opener canceled because of COVID concerns. They've also failed to cover the point spread in 7 out of their last 10 ball games with Portland. And speaking of the Blazers, they still shot nearly 37% from beyond the arc in their season opener despite the loss. CJ McCollum scored 23 in that contest, 4 rebounds and 3 assists for the veteran from Lehigh. And Carmelo Anthony also scored 15 off the bench, 4 rebounds and a steal for Melo. Portland has successfully covered the number in their last 6 straight hosting the Rockets. So if you're into historical trends, that certainly favors Blazers backers. Now, total-wise, Portland saw their last game stay 6.5 points below the posted number. Meanwhile, the Rockets are 70% to the under in their last 10 head-to-head meetings with the Blazers. Give me the Portland Trail Blazers, minus 7.5, and the under 226. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into our next and final matchup for the show. It is going to be Suns versus the Kings, 10 p.m. East. The Suns are minus 3.5 on the road, totals 228 and a hook. The Kings are plus $1.45 to win it. Now, the Kings had a very solid opening day victory over the Denver Nuggets. Having said that, though, they still ended up allowing 122 total points to the Nugs, and they allowed them to shoot nearly 49% from the field. If that continues, it probably won't bode well versus a team like Phoenix. And speaking of which, they're taking on a Suns team who hasn't lost a ball game in forever. They finished the 19-20 campaign, peeling off 8 straight victories in the bubble, and then held the Mavericks to just 102 points scoring in their opener this year. They also held a solid Mavs team to just 24% shooting from three-land. Devin Booker had 22 points in the meeting, 5 rebounds and 3 assists for the guard. Booker also had a pair of steals and officially went over 53% from the field. Of course, can't forget about Miles Bridges, who also scored 18 points himself in the opener, 7 rebounds and a pair of blocks for the 6'6 forward. The Suns have successfully covered the number in their last 5 straight versus the Western Conference. And when it comes to the total in this one, the Suns played very good defense in the bubble this past season. They also held the Mavs once again to just 102 points in the opener and just 42% shooting from the field in that contest. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, Sacramento went 5-2 to the under in their last 7 meetings with Phoenix. I'm going to lean toward the Phoenix Suns minus 3.5 and the under 228 and a hook. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into our quick pick recap, once again brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage, where we are 4-0 in our last 4 college football tier package picks. And the good news is we have another college football tier package play going off today. I like the Atlanta Hawks plus 1.5 under 238. I also like the Cleveland Cavaliers plus 2.5 over 213. I'm leaning toward the OKC Thunder plus 3 over 217.5. I also like Orlando plus 2 under 230 and a hook. I'm leaning toward the Sixers minus 8.5 over 216. I also like the Pacers minus 5 over 222.5. I'm leaning toward the Spurs plus 2.5 under 226 and a hook. I also like the Timberwolves plus 9 under 229. I'm leaning toward the Portland Trail Blazers minus 7.5 under 226. And last but certainly not least, please give this video a thumbs up right now if you enjoyed it. I like the Phoenix Suns minus 3.5 and the under 228 and a hook. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into some shout outs. And from our YouTube platform, shout out to Luis Arazo, Round 1, Jose Rodriguez, Ray H, John Rodriguez. We got Jose Rodriguez and John Rodriguez. Also want to give a shout out to my good friend Scott Kaler from Anaheim. Shout out to Bronx 26 Time, most likely from the Bronx. Shout out to Aunt Ruga, Tim Johnson. And last but certainly not least, got to give a shout out to my man, St. James Jackson. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. If you guys decide to get a package here today, just keep in mind, we'll bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. Also, got to remind you, if you end up getting a package here today, just keep in mind all the lesser expensive packages that I offer on that website are included absolutely free with your purchase. So if you end up getting the college football tier package play today, all the tiers that are lesser expensive than the college football package, they're included absolutely free with your purchase. But anyway, guys, gotta thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, happy Saturday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.